Our program can really be done just about anywhere. You really don't need a lot of equipment. We do have some specialized equipment that we use in our gym that you can only get at PitFit, and we don't expect everybody to have that. We don't want you to have that. But in the event that you don't have this equipment, you can do a lot of the same training without that equipment. Body weight movements are very easy, dumbbells, kettlebells, bands, simple things like that that you can really get anywhere. There's a value in resistance training, and I think if you're looking to add some mass and some size, which we have drivers who do need to add that, increasing the weight resistance is something you absolutely want to do, but there's a limit to that. Adding too much bulk, too much mass can limit range of motion. If you spend so much time in the weight room working on getting the biggest muscles possible, you're probably limiting the amount of time you're spending on other areas of the body, your stamina, your flexibility, perhaps a specific area of the core or the neck. So we tend to do much more dynamic-based movements with kettlebells, bands, cables. We use sledgehammers, tires, battle ropes, these kind of things. We just incorporate all kinds of much more dynamic movement-based activities than just pure weight training.
5 more laps, gang, 5 more.
A large part of our training is we train what we call an unstable surface. We load the body up as much as possible with an unstable surface, which would mean an endo board or a balance board of some sort, and then we load with kettlebells, dumbbells, bands, medicine balls, so that while the body is staying very, very stable, trying to balance on the board, the core is also stable. Then we load them up with some sort of resistance, which means it's having to constantly move, the center of gravity moves back and forth. The entire time, the core is tight, just like in the race car. You're stable, so it's core stabilization versus core movement, a totally different way of training. We load the body with, say, a body blade, a kettlebell, something of that sort, just like you would do in the race car. Now you've got core stabilization, loading the muscles of the body that are being worked, and now you have the closest thing to being in a race car as you possibly can be. The medicine ball Russian twist is a way to focus on strengthening the core, a very dynamic movement pattern. With the core area of the body, you want to train it from various angles. By implementing a rotational side to the training of the core, you're hitting various angles. The heavier the medicine ball, the more work you're producing, the stronger the muscle, and the faster and the tighter the muscles are. The battle rope is a tremendous tool. The ropes have a lot of different uses. Some of these implements that have been around for years have now kind of come full circle to being used again. A lot of the old school training. The battle ropes or any kind of ropes you use, they're heavy. They weigh somewhere around 40, 50 pounds, and you can move them in a pattern up and down, around and around, and that helps work on the shoulders, the core, again, dynamically moving the body in a way that's going to benefit them in the car. And it also tends to get the heart rate up pretty high, so it almost becomes a cardio-based strength workout combined in one. The heart rate is one of the most valuable areas that we focus on for the training of the drivers, not just for the training, but for the recovery, the intensity levels, the training load. We use the Polar Team 2 system, which allows us to monitor real-time drivers live on a TV monitor while they're actually training. We can monitor up to 28 athletes at one time while they're training. This gives us data that we can look at and line up with their training loads to see, are they improving, are they not improving, are they overtrained. We can put the monitors on the drivers in the car and do a correlation workout that kind of shows what their heart rate does in a specific car, specific track. We can detail a workout that somewhat fits them into the same kind of situation as they go to in the race car. The whole premise of our program is really based around variety and never really settling into a groove. Drivers, really their sport is so non-specific to any training that you want to offer a very non-specific training program. A basketball player knows that if he increases his vertical leap, his performance will improve this much. With a driver, you can work in one specific area, but there's so many intangibles that you can't control. So we just try to keep the driver very limber, very lean, very strong, a lot of variety, reaction training, everything, and don't let them really settle into a specific style of training, but just with a lot of variety. Well, it's certainly nice to have some of the latest and greatest, fanciest pieces of exercise equipment. The key is you. You have to do more than the next guy or the next girl. You need to look at the grid, look around with contempt and say, I'm in better shape than they am. I'm mentally and physically more prepared than the next driver. To do that, there should be no excuses. You don't need a lot of fancy equipment. You need you to get out there, find the tools, research how to do it, a website, like Safe is Fast, will give you the tools to be a better driver. Now it's up to you to get out there and do it.